part of the episode. A major thank you to our friend John Abate once again for joining us after announcing the unfortunate end to his UAP career, but we're positive, like we told him, about what's in store. And if you guys missed it, we've partnered with both Daily Fantasy and Cooper's Coffee House, and our friends at Cooper's Coffee House is giving gift certificates to listeners of the podcast. 1,000 pesos worth of Cooper's Coffee House gift certificate online for the chance to win. All you gotta do is comment what's your favorite part of this episode and why, whether you're watching on YouTube, Facebook, or Spotify. Okay, so Simon and I are going to play a little game that I kind of came up with earlier as a fun experiment for both of us to do, given each return to the episode. So, Simon, the first question you and I both have to answer is this. From the 8 teams, how many do we see as realistic Final Four contenders? And when I say Final Four contenders, I mean teams that could make the Final Four. Now, obviously, the NU Bulldogs are already there. I believe you and I are also assuming that the UP Fighting Maroons sooner than later will clinch a Final Four spot. And to add to those 2 teams, in my opinion, the Final Four contenders are everybody else except University of the East. So that's LaSalle, Ateneo, UST, Adamson, FEU. Am I missing anyone?
UST, LaSalle,
Ateneo,
Adamson.
FEU, Adamson. Okay. Yeah, there we go. Now, how about you? I'm guessing it's the same. All those 7 squads are Final Four contenders for you, right?
Absolutely. In this season 8-8, also known as the season of competitive balance. Yeah. Unfortunately, with the exception of UE, so many possibilities are still on the table.
Something about magic numbers. That's fun. Season 88. Even season 77 was a hoot. I think season 77 was the year NU last won the championship, actually. Ooh, magic numbers. Okay. Now, the next question that Simon and I have to answer is from the final 4 contenders, which teams do we see as legit championship contenders? Because this is going to influence the question we ask for the game later. So, Simon, from the 7 teams we mentioned, I have 5 squads who I can see or kind of envision or imagine as possibly winning the championship. Those are NU, the current leaders, UP, the defending champs, LaSalle, despite the injuries, I still see a path for LaSalle to potentially win the title, and the same for UST and Ateneo. I see them as teams who could possibly win the championship. Now, I know that the fans of Adamson and maybe FU are going to be upset about that, but it it is what it is, I guess. And I'm going to stick by it. Now, Simon, how about you? From the 7 Final Four contenders, who do you see as potential championship options?
We have a game to play later now. So I'll elaborate on my point, but I would actually narrow down that list to just four. NU,
Okay.
LaSalle, and UST.
So you're taking Ateneo out of the equation.
Yes, sir.
All right. So only in Ateneo will it be different questions for you and I. Now, here's what's going to happen. For FEU, Adamson, and in your case, plus Ateneo, we're gonna play a fill in the blanks game. FEU slash Adamson slash Ateneo will make the final four if dot 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 dot. And also the same, those three will not make the final four if dot 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 dot. And then for the championship contenders, the question just changes. For example, UP will win the championship if dot 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 dot. UP will not win the championship if dot 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 dot, which is up to you. Now, trust me, I know that basketball is very nuanced, so the reasons why a team might win or might not win can vary from 2 reasons to 5 to 10. It really depends. There's so many things that happen. But for the sake of this dynamic, we're just gonna go ahead and choose one main reason why or why not. So Simon, let's start with our friends from Adamson. Adamson will make the final four if dot 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 dot. Adamson will not make the final four if dot 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 dot. You go.
Okay, my friends from Adamson, I find it funny that you say your friends from Adamson, but hey, whatever makes you happy, man. Let's go. Okay, so I think Adamson will be a fearsome force, a real Final Four contender if they can hit their three ball. I think this has been the recipe that Coach Nash Rosella has been using since at the very least last season, and that is we're going to make our offense 3 point center. It's that simple, and it's not really it's really an open secret. Now, I could just flip the script and say Adamson will not make the final four if their 3 point shot isn't falling. But Navs, I was taking a look at the stats for defense earlier, and Adamson is actually, in my opinion, one of the three most impressive defensive teams this season. And UP, and Adamson have been dominating these statistics. Check this out. Adamson is second in points allowed. Adamson is second in field goal percentage allowed. Adamson is second in points in the paint allowed. The problem is, it's not enough if you're just protecting the rim. You also have to put the ball in your own basket. And the problem is, Adamson is dead last in points scored. Adamson is dead last in points in the paint. Adamson is dead last in free throw attempts. So unless they find a way to give uh, a bigger spark to their offense more than their attack from beyond the arc, I don't see Adamson going so far for the rest of the season.
So your answer is Adamson makes the final four if they knock down their outside shots, and they will not make the final four if they can't convert from outside.
Yes.
Interesting. Okay. Okay. Adamson will make the final four if they can be fortunate. And the reason I say that is because if you look at the remainder of their schedule, now granted, nothing is an easy win in the UAP this season. Even UE can sometimes give you a challenge, but I believe the remaining schedule of Adamson is incredibly tough. They just played NU and they end the season playing, let me get the dates here correctly. On November 16, they play UP. UP, who is still gunning for a twice to beat advantage. They play LaSalle on November 19, a LaSalle team that will be looking to stay alive in their Final Four hunt. And then another team looking to stay alive in the Final Four hunt, which is Ateneo on November 23. Now, they're currently 5 and 6. They're one game back on the loss column from Ateneo and UST. They're two games back on the loss column from DLSU. And I can't envision Adamson going 3-0 the rest of the way. I could see maybe 2 and 1. 2 and 1 would mean they end the season at 7 and 7. I'm saying I could see it, not that I'm predicting it. But even if they go 7 and 7, they would need one of UST or Ateneo to also drop a few games, which is possible. And remember, for the fourth seed, and Adamson knows this very well, sometimes all it comes down to is winning that one playoff game, getting the tie, and then winning that one playoff game. Adamson will not make the final four if they lose two of their next three games.
That's the problem. When you don't control your fate by virtue of your win-loss record, then it's not only a matter of working hard on the court, it's also a matter of, I guess, praying that certain other teams don't perform so well. So yeah, best of luck to the fans of the Soaring Falcons.
That's why a strong start is very important, especially in a tightly contested UAP season. Because when you start the season like Adamson did, I believe they were 1 and 4 at a certain point, then you have to play catch up and then it becomes a little difficult. And mistakes like what they did against NU, Matt Erolon's a good kid, talented young player. Those two free throws are gonna haunt him. And I feel like those two free throws, they could have really, really, really used it. Beating the top seeded Bulldogs would have been so big for them. Okay, let's now go to FEU. So I'll go first. FEU will make the final four. I know we only said one reason. This is kind of like a two reason answer, but okay, not. I'm gonna follow the rules. I'm gonna choose just one reason. FEU will make the final four if Kirby Moncopa surprises us and takes another leap this season as well. And what do I mean by that? I'm not sure if you guys have noticed this, but Pasaol and Bautista's shooting numbers have kind of dropped lately, particularly Pasaol. He's had some tough shooting games, which is to be expected from a sophomore player. And more concerning for me is some of the playmaking, which was there at the start of the season, hasn't been there. And to some degree, it's because Moncopa has taken the ball more as well and become more of a hub for that offense. So if Moncopa can end his rookie season, kind of like how VJ pre-ended that rookie season of his last year, because remember, VJ had like a 30 plus point game against UST. Now, I'm not saying that Moncopa has to start having 30-point games, but if he can be even better, and he's already been quite good for a rookie who missed 2 years from an injury, but if he can be even better, and then that complements and opens things up for Bautista and Pasaol, I could see FEU potentially winning. They'd probably have to win all their games the rest of the way, but at least most of their games, and getting to that Final Four. FEU will not make the Final Four, to contrast, if the shooting struggles of Pasaol continues and the ah actually one reason on sorry, not the Pasaol part. FEU will not make the Final Four if they can't get consistent contributions from their bench.
Actually, that's exactly what I was going to say. FEU is a very top-heavy team. They're actually first in the league in terms of starters points. The problem is they're also dead last in terms of bench scoring. So their bench needs to wake the hell up because Pasaol, Bautista, Moncopa, they can't do all the work on their own. They have to get some valuable help from the rest of the roster. Now, for my part, Navs, I would also say that FEU could possibly make the Final Four if they improve their defense on the perimeter and on the fast break. They're sixth in perimeter points allowed. They're sixth in fast break points allowed. So I think that's a huge reason why FEU has been dropping games despite the epic clutch play from Jorik and Janray. Sort of the opposite problem from what we were saying for Adamson. So I think if FEU gets those crucial stops towards the end of the game, they could pick up some more wins.
Okay, interesting. Well, now we get to the deeper part of our talented team, shall we say, this UAP season. And let's make things a little more exciting. Let's give contrasting answers to why we think they would do something and why we think they wouldn't do something, just to spice things up a bit. So, the one team that you and I disagree on, Ateneo. I think Ateneo has the potential to be a title contender. You think they do not. So, give me a reason why, for you, they would make the Final Four and why they would not.
I think what's going against the Blue Eagles is the timing of all of this. So they just snapped an extensive losing streak, and um, I'm not sure if this is a case of too little, too late. I know they have some key games left. Unfortunately, we couldn't get Ateneo LaSalle round two for season 88 today because of the postponement. Everyone stay safe, please. But when I reflected on it, and when you think about how postponed games are now going to be moved farther down the schedule, can you imagine how Ateneo and LaSalle would have bigger stakes in that rescheduled date because now both teams are vying for a spot at the Final Four? So the problem is, I think LaSalle has had more momentum on their side. That's not exactly the same for Ateneo, but I was looking at their stats as well, and they do have some deficiencies in terms of the interior. They're seventh in points in the paint. They're dead last in 2 point field goal percentage, and they're also sixth in second chance points allowed, fifth in points in the paint allowed. Divine Adili's return is a huge thing. The question is, will it be enough to push them over the hump? I think they might not make the Final Four, again, precisely because of the timing, but I think they could make the Final Four because if Adili's return and perhaps, fingers crossed for the Blue Eagles fans, Jared Bahay gets more minutes, gets his groove back again, gets his rhythm back again, gets his playmaking back again, those two could play a huge role in the Ateneo Blue Eagles Final Four chances this year.
Okay, good points, of course, as always from you. So, for me, Ateneo will win the championship if, and by the way, these aren't guarantees. These are just best case scenarios, okay? Take note of that, guys. If Divine ideally stays healthy, in terms of what's their best chance to win the championship, if Divine ideally stays healthy, they're 5-2 with Divine ideally. One of those losses was the triple overtime thriller against UST. With Divine, they have better rim protection. They have a go-to inside scorer. He's not as good as, let's say, a Precious Momoway or even a Francis Naruko when it comes to scoring in the paint. But that's a big body who can take up space, who can get offensive boards, second chance scoring opportunities. And it allows guys like Escobar and Lodi to play their natural positions. It allows Escobar and Lodi more space, more room, and less margin of error to operate. Ateneo will not win the championship if their outside shots are not hitting. Truth be told is, and Coach Tab pointed this out, they're not one of the better interior scoring teams in the UAAP. In fact, if we look at the numbers real quick, when it comes to points in the paint, Ateneo is second to last, 24.6 a game next to Adamson. So if they're not clicking from the outside, they just don't have firepower to attack teams in other ways and put themselves in the best chance to win. Okay, next we go to UST. Probably the most enigmatic team of UAP Season 88 so far. UST will win the championship if they hit free throws. Aha, curveball. You guys are expecting that for LaSalle. Well, don't be surprised if it shows up for LaSalle again. But it's true. UST is another team that has struggled from the free throw line this season. In fact, let's look at the stats real quick here. Should be your free throws. UST has attempted 290 total free throws this season. That's a league best. And they have made 170 out of 290. Why isn't there no percentage here? I wish the percentage was here. It would make things easier. Okay, let's get the percentage real quick. Do you know that percentage, Simon?
Don't look at me. I'm not the math person. I was also looking at the same numbers.
Okay,
It's
okay.
attempt,
USD is
not
shooting
percentage.
58% from the free throw line. And I was speaking to someone from USD, someone in the team recently, and what he told me is if they shoot better free throws against UP and Adamson, they think that they're winning those games. In fact, he said if they shoot even just above 65% from the free throw line for the season instead of 58, they're probably 8-2 instead of 5-5. So free throws used to be low key, now starting to be more high key after that UP game has been the biggest area of improvement for the Growling Tigers. USD will not win the championship if they don't establish Collins Akowe enough as the offensive fulcrum. This guy takes up so much space in the paint. Yes, the free throws are a work in progress, but if he can get the ball near the rim as often as possible, that just changes the flow and the pace of the game for the Growling Tigers. Because when he's establishing himself there, it's easier for those UST guys to get back on defense as well. The guys who are missing three pointers or swinging around trying to find an opening suddenly in unfavorable positions after the long rebounds of the other teams, that's when UST can sometimes get in trouble as well. But if they can play through Akowe, let him establish himself, let him draw multiple defenders, and then open up opportunities for the other guys, I think that's a better formula for UST. How about you?
I'll actually explore the other side of the coin that you were just talking about. UST will win the championship if they can get better quality minutes in those Collins Akowe less minutes. We all know what to expect out of the Growling Tigers when the big man is there. Him, the potential real MVP of the season. Anyway, so but when he takes a seat UST's offense and defense dips. So if the Growling Tigers can tweak their game plan once Akowe, gets a breather, I think they have a real chance to knock off teams, right? Um like deep in the postseason. UST, however, will not win, okay, the championship. Sorry. If their trends on defense continue. They allow the most points, okay, out of all the UAAP teams, allowing 83.6 points per game. And when you think about that triple overtime thriller that they had with Ateneo and then that recent loss to UP, those were high scoring games. And we all know that they're a very potent offense. On the opposite side, they're actually first in points scored. But the more you allow your opponents to score, especially deep in the clutch, you're asking for trouble. So, in particular, they need to fix their defense from beyond the arc. Once again, they're dead last in 3-point percentage allowed. So, yeah, the Growling Tigers will need to tighten up things on defense.
Interesting. Defense, definitely. Sometimes they can look impressive, but then from quarter to quarter, it can change, which isn't always a great sign. Okay, now let's go to the De La Salle University Green Archers. You get to start this time.
Okay, so LaSalle will win the championship if they also tighten things up on defense. I think, Navs, this has been the most stark difference between their season 86 squad, their season 87 squad, even though they didn't win the championship then, and this squad this year. I think they had a better defensive identity in the past two seasons. But when we take a look now at the stats, they're sixth in points allowed, they're dead last in points in the paint allowed, and even on transition, they're not really very proficient in getting back on defense. I saw those boys, John Abate and the Red Warriors, in that actually in both rounds, right? But especially in that round one game, they were penetrating the defense of the Green Archers and they were getting out and running, and the Archers weren't really stopping them. As a result, and as with other games in which De La Salle's transition defense was not so good, they're now fifth in fast break points allowed. So De La Salle definitely needs to improve their defensive identity, but they will win the championship if Jacob Cortez gets the ball in more clutch situations. What do I mean by that? I've been stymied like watching them, especially in round one, when I would like yell at the TV screen, why isn't Jacob getting the ball in these possessions? Now, some of those instances, it was Baklaan, all right, and we all know that he's stellar playmaker as well, get well soon. But there have been times in which the Green Archers simply failed to get the ball to their best playmaker, bar none, right? So this man is a ticking time bomb waiting to detonate on players in the Final Four. And I think, quite honestly, actually, even beyond Mike Phillips, right? He's their best chance at winning the championship this season.
Jacob with the ball in his hands in clutch time situations. I think that's their best mode of attack in those certain scenarios. To me, I would say LaSalle would win the championship if the role players step up. When you look at the season 86 team, yes, Kevin Kimba was the finals MVP. Yes, Michael Phillips was a two-way demon. Yes, Evan Nelly stepped up when the moment required him to do so. But a big reason why LaSalle won against UP in that series was CJ Austria stepping up, Josh David knocking down outside shots, Earl Abadam and EJ Goliena providing quality minutes. Even season 87 last year, it was a lot of KQ, even more KQ than season 86. But some of their big wins were games where JC Makalalag was knocking down outside jumpers. Same for Earl Abadam and the other guys on the team. And that victory against UST, which I thought was LaSalle's most impressive win this season in 88, that second round, it wasn't Phillips and Cortez doing all the damage. Makalala got his best game. Avadam came off the bench and provided. Boris Marsigan played and did not hit anybody. and because they actually kind of need him, right? Marasigan, they need his physical presence. So if they can get the role players to step up, obviously that takes the defensive pressure away from their main guys. It allows Phillips more putback opportunities, more rolls to the rim, and it solves some of their defensive issues too. Because it's in transition where LaSalle has really been killed on defense. You mentioned the fast break points, and a lot of those fast break opportunities for the other teams come from missed outside shots, late shot clock situations. So if the role players step up, they'll be in better position. LaSalle will not win the championship simply if they miss their free throws. it's it's it goes without saying at this point. I don't even need to go into detail. You guys know, okay? It's the free throws. It's a decade-old problem. It is what it is. Simon, let's go to your UP Fighting Maroons. Oh wait, I start this time because you started with LaSalle, right? Okay, so with the UP Fighting Maroons, the UP Fighting Maroons will win the championship if Harold Alarcon continues to be their ultimate closer. I mentioned this in my post the other day after the win against UST. He's the best one-on-one scorer in the UAAP right now. Maybe the best one-on-one scorer in college ball. He's up there with Jonty of San Beda, but I think Alarcon kind of takes a nod a little bit more right now. And if Alarcon ends up being the JD Kagulangan like closer, because JD closed a lot of games for UP last season, not only with clutch shot making, but good decision making. So if Alarcon can fill in that role, then UP can be as good as they were last season. And I know that sounds a little blasphemous, given that last year's UP team had Lopez, QMB, and JD, but the talent for the rest of the squad this season is starting to step up. I think Gani has been playing solid. I think Remogat is finding his fitting with this team. And there's a lot of vet presence in that squad. And if Alarcon can be the closer, like he has been as of late, I think UP is going to be in great position to go all the way. The second part, UP will not win the championship if their big men cannot contain the opposition's other interior scoring. What do I mean by that? Look at the production of Akowe against UP this season, right? Now, granted, UP did play solid defense against NU's big men, but Akowe in particular, they've also had trouble with Phillips over the years. So if those guys, Naruka, Steven, Sean Alter, who played solid against UE, can, because we know they're solid offensive players, but if they can even take it up a level in terms of being defenders, that's gonna not just prevent the other team from scoring. That's gonna allow UP's guards like Abadjano, Remagat, Alarcon more opportunities to run the basketball.
Okay. So I think UP will win the championship if, and you talked about the interior. I'll go opposite. UP will win the championship if they can fix their damn three-point shot. Okay, with all due respect to our sharpshooters there, Mix Iniguez, Chico Briones, been shooting the rock with no hesitation. I mean, if you take a look at their three-point shooting as a whole, they're mediocre. They're fifth.
27.6%, fifth in the league.
Come on, man. They're fifth in the league in that particular category. They're also fifth in the league in perimeter points as a whole, right? So, if teams know that they can exploit that particular weakness, they will jump on it 10 times in the final four and even in the finals. So they better fix that. But I do think that UP will win the championship if they stick to their roles. And what do I mean by that? Like you said, Harold, look, we were talking closer by committee the last time that I was here. Hey, there's no committee right now when it comes to closing games for the Fighting Maroons, but the chairperson is front and center. So if Harold can continue to be that killer in the clutch, and then um, these big men defend the post, and also their bench showcases that unbelievable depth that the Fighting Maroons have been banking on for the past few seasons. I think they know who they are now. And if UP doesn't forget who they are, I think they have a great chance of going back to back.
UP, even while being, as Simon said, mediocre from three-point range, still number two in the league in total field goal percentage at 42.7%. So imagine if, like you said, some of the 3-point shots were going in. Ironically, dead last in 3-point shooting is De La Salle University. Now, part of that has been impacted by the loss of Mason and Kian, obviously, but that's also a little surprising because when you look at LaSalle's players, you think there are quite a few outside shooters there. Okay, last but not the least, the NU Bulldogs. You go first this time.
Okay. Little known fact I think about the NU Bulldogs, not given so much attention. NU will not win the championship if they cannot fix their rebounding woes. They're second to last, okay, when it comes to crashing the boards. And when you're not securing the ball, when you're giving your opponents more opportunities to score, that's going to be crucial, especially if you come down to like a Final Four game or a finals game. There's just no margin for error when it comes to the UAAP postseason, and rebounding is such a huge part of that. Now, I think NU will win the championship if they can score more. Okay, so it surprised me also to note that they're actually also second to last when it comes to points scored, which just is a testament to the excellence of their defense. Even when the ball isn't going through the hoop as frequently as they want to, they still have been very electric on the defensive end, holding opponents to just 65.3 points per game. Imagine how much more dominant they would be if they could actually get their perimeter game going, their inside game going simultaneously. So, in other words, if NU really wants to be number one, not only in the regular season but also in the postseason, they'll have to be consistent on offense and defense. Sorry, Kevin Durant and Draymond Green, your argument about offense versus defense wins championships, that's not valid. You need both, and I think NU is capable of doing that.
They also lead the league in turnovers. So a lot of times and that goes to show how impressive this NU team is that even if they're not always winning the possession battle, they're winning these games. They've been awfully impressive. NU will win the championship if Jake Figueroa is the guy we want him to be. That's my first answer. There's gonna come a time, whether that's in the final four or that's in the finals, when you just need individual players to step up and be the brilliant individual standouts that they are. We saw it with Carl Tamayo, with Xavier Lucero, with Kevin Kimbao, with Angelo Kwame. Back then, we saw it with guys like Jeron Tanky for Ravenna. It's even those FEU teams needed Mac Bello to come save the day every now and then, right? The Bulldogs will need Jake Figueroa, and to his credit, he stepped up numerous times this season. They need him to be that star. I know I'm going old school basketball analogy here, just saying the star player needs to step up. I sound like Stephen A. Smith. But in this case, I think it's true. If Jake can be the give me the ball, I will make the right play. 20 seconds left, we're down by one or we're up by one in the fourth quarter of a clutch Final Four finals game. I think they can be in great position to win. NU will not win the championship if they face UP. Only half joking. Half
I
joke,
thought this
half
was
joke.
serious.
Half joke, half serious. I just want to leave it there. If their shooting proficiency abandons them. Because if you look at the shooting field goal percentage of NU, they're number one in the league at 43%. They're also number one at three-point shooting, 33%. Now, granted, they take the least amount of threes in the UAP, just 185 so far this season. Everyone else has attempted at least 200 threes. I mean, Adamson has taken 308 three-pointers. But NU shooting the ball right now efficiently. They're being patient. They're looking for the best and the right shot. And if that and sometimes in the final four, the finals, things can get a little more pressured back, right? Those easy shots aren't going in as easily. If that abandons them, then I could see that possibly being trouble for them. Simon, it's so great to have you back on the podcast. Do you have enough time for your life corner, or are you gonna save that for next time?
Oh, I'm gonna do it now because I don't know when I'll be back here. So, okay. I was making overtures to Navs to have a quick live corner right now because couple of things. It's nice to make a comeback, my own comeback from illness, and I very grateful to you for your well wishes. I was battling some health problems like over the past month, but now I'm glad to be back here. But the other thing I wanted to say was, hey, how do you get healthy? You need to stay physically fit, and as you know, I joined a league here in our subdivision. I will not disclose my exact location, only that I am at the boundary of two cities. Okay, and I wanted to give a special shout out to my teammates. We just lost last night, but I want to perk you.
Oh,
Hey man, there's a plot twist to that as well. But I'm so happy to be teammates of these guys. I'm gonna read the names off the group chat so that I don't forget anyone. Cyron, Dennis, Edison, Emmanuel Acosta, Jan, Boss JP, John Paul de la Cruz, Boss Kyle, Marlon, Marvin, Michael Russell, Kuya Miko, Kuya Sunny. Hey guys, kaya natin yan. Meron pang third game, 1-1 tayo. Even if na-postpone yung unang game natin, kasi umulan, tambak naman yung kalaban ng 17 points. So, I claim it as a one win for us. So, here's the plot twist, Nabs. Green, like I told you, green yung color ng jersey namin. And like when I saw it, I said, bleep, green, bakit green? And the team that beat us last night was the maroon team.
oh.
Draw any conclusions that you want out of that. The only thing that I will say is I will remain loyal to the jersey that I'm wearing. That's
See,
all I.
now I'm wondering if you threw the game because you were wearing green and you were facing maroon. I mean, did you did you pull a Terry Rozier?
Uh, Go ask my teammates how intense I was on defense. So that's all I got. Thank you.
Oh, so you were playing like I don't know, like a Josh, like a CJ Austria? Is that a good
Like a
comparison for you?
like a Jerry Abadiano minus the mid-range game.
Okay, okay. Interesting, interesting. Well, shout out to your teammates. I'm sure you guys really gave it all. And hopefully you guys bounce back next season and win the chip that eluded you guys. Now, my life corner isn't as electric as that, I guess. But so you've gone through this. Your wife's been pregnant. You have two kids, right? No, one kid. You have one boy right now?
Two.
Two kids,
Two.
two kids. Exactly. I knew that first. And when you eventually see your friends while your wife is pregnant, while you guys are expecting, you already can predict what's gonna be asked in social settings, right? Hey, how's your wife? How do you feel about being pregnant? You're gonna be a dad. Are you ready? Are you excited? How do you feel? And at first, you're super thankful for those questions, right? Because you're super excited, and it's good to have an outlet to share about that excitement. But by like month seven, month eight, it's just the same question everywhere you go after a while, right? Congratulations, how do you feel? How's the pregnancy? Do you have a name yet? Is it a gender? So it's like my brain has already rehearsed the questions. Even before the questions are coming, I already knew. So my brain has rehearsed the answers rather. And I'm like, yeah, it's a boy. I'm excited. Yeah, I'll know what it feels like to be a dad when it's there. Yeah, scared, but also excited, nervous, but also happy. It's the same. So I was at the party last night. I said, you know what? I'm gonna switch things up a little bit here. So someone asked me the questions. Hey, congratulations! How do you feel? You're gonna be a dad. What's exciting you? And I'm like, oh yeah. So, and by the way, this is a joke, guys. Don't take this seriously. I just did this for fun. I was like, oh yeah, we're excited. The baby's gonna be here, and we can't wait to start the auction. And they're like, I kid you not. This person I was talking to stared at me for like 7 seconds, like, um, and I was like, oh, this worked. Okay, let me egg this on a little bit more. Yeah, do you want to put a bid? Are you interested? And that person was like, um. Then after a while, I was like, nah, I'm just messing with you. I wanted to give a different answer. But anyway, just tip of I mean a piece of advice for expecting parents. If you guys just want to switch the interaction socially up every now and then, try saying that just to see how people are gonna look at you and be like, what do I say to this now?
We're wishing the very best for you and your young family, man. So yeah, all the best to you, your wife, and your child.
Thank you, Simon. Thank you. And for the record, our baby is not up for auction. It's a definitely not. And I am stoked. I am hoping for blessings and prayers from everyone To be quite honest, though, to answer the question, I am both nervous, sometimes really nervous, but sometimes excited slash really excited as well. But ultimately, like most things in life, you can anticipate and think about what's to come as much as you want to, but until you're there at that moment, and you probably can confirm this, that's only when you really get to experience all the feels.
And here's how we'll end this. When that moment of adversity comes, and trust me when I say this, it will come in that life of yours as a new father. Do you know who I am?
Simon,
Do you know who you are?
Naveen.
You should forget that.
I see. I get you. I get it now. I get it. See, you had me staring at you for a while there too. You returned the favor to me. See, this is why we have you on the podcast. um, no, but honestly, it was great to have you again, Simon, and I can't wait to have you back.
Godspeed, and everyone, please take care.
Absolutely. Shout out Daily Fantasy and Coopers. See y'all next time.
Deuces.